Hello all, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So guys, the main agenda of this particular video is to discuss about the 6 important key skills which are required to become a machine learning engineer or a ML engineer. Whether you are a student or a data enthusiast who is trying to enter into the data field, then guys, this video is for you all. In this particular video, I'll be discussing about how many months it's required to complete till machine learning and what are the key tech stacks you require to crack your first machine learning interview. And also I'll be giving you all the tips related to resume, how can you prepare your resume professional. So guys, now let's not waste our time, let's dive into the screen and discuss more about that. Before that guys, if you are finding some valuable knowledge from my channel, do subscribe the channel and on the bell notification. Now let's not waste our time, let's dive into the screen. So guys, this is the machine learning roadmap which I have created personally for you all. So in this, the programming language, the first and foremost thing will be the programming language. If you want to enter into a IT field, you should at least know the basics of a programming language. Then when it comes to the machine learning, there are two famous programming languages. Among them, one is Python and the other thing is R. I personally recommend you all Python because Python is sorted and it's easy to use and you can learn it fast. The community is also very strong in Python compared to R programming. And if you are a beginner, I would definitely suggest you all to go with Python. Now let us discuss about Python also, how to learn. Before that guys, I have already created a Python playlist for you all. Whatever I'll be explaining in this particular roadmap of Python or a machine learning roadmap, whatever I'll be explaining, you can see here, right? All these things whichever I'm explaining, already I have created videos on that. You can see here, you can watch out all this. And if you want to know only about Python, there is already a Python roadmap for beginners. I have created this. You can have a look on this also. Now let's not waste our time. Let's continue with this. I'll be giving you all a basic idea of Python because I have already created the videos. And if you want to know in detail about Python, then I already have a video for you all about the Python roadmap. I'll be giving that particular playlist and also that roadmap video link in this video description. You can have a look on that. So when it comes to the basics, let me just open the basics. So in basics, you need to understand the fundamentals of Python mainly. That is nothing but variables and data types. You should know operators and control flow, and you should know like loops and conditional statements like if else, else if. You should know all this. These are the basics in Python. It will not take much time to revise this if you already know and if you forgot it. Or if you have learned this in some other languages like in Java or C++, the theory will be same. When it comes to the practical implementation, if you know the syntax, you can easily do it. It's not an issue. You can learn the basics very soon. It will approximately take 1 week of time, that's all. So I would recommend you all to have a look on my playlist. You can learn it fast. So now the basics is done. So guys, before we continue further in this particular video, I have an important announcement for you all. So introducing Python for Financial Programming, an ultimate online course designed especially for the students who are from non-technical background or who are trying to enter into the field of IT. So guys, especially this course is for financial students where the instructor, you can see here, this is the website and he is the instructor, Ritvik. So he has explained the course in a very detailed way that even he has break down the complex concepts also and he has explained it with the practical examples. You can have a look on this particular course. This course content is of 2.5 hours of duration and even there is a quiz and assignments. Once you complete this particular course, you will be getting the certificate also which you can showcase on your LinkedIn and also mention it in your resume. Whatever I am explaining in this particular machine learning roadmap, the concepts of Python, whatever I am explaining you all that concepts will be covered in his course also. You can have a look on his course. He will be explaining it in very detailed way. Right now, this course is at discount right now. He is providing the discount of 60%. So you can have a look on this. And it's a very affordable course. It's only for limited time. I would recommend you all to take the course and you can learn and complete fastly within 1 day. You can see here it is just of 2.5 hours of content, nothing more than that. So you can have a look on this, and once you are done with the registration, do comment below this particular video. Thank you all. Let's continue further to our topic. When it comes to data structure, you should have an idea on this particular data structures: list, tuple, dictionary, and sets, because these are the for syntax, or else you can say that these are the particular data structures we will be using when it comes to the project implementation also. And if you want to create any data, or else if you want to do any manipulations in your data while doing analysis also, we'll be using this particular data structures in Python. So just have a look on all this and be strong enough on this particular topics. This will be even an interview questions also. What is the difference between list and tuple, and what are the key and value pairs in dictionary? And even they can ask you all about what is arguments and keyword arguments, KWARGS and ARGS. You should know about all this. So just have a look on this and learn about these topics in detail. These topics might take another 1 week. It will not take much time. It is also easy to learn. Then after learning the data structures, so you will be going with OOPS concept. So when it comes to OOPS concept, you should know the classes and objects, what is inheritance, polymorphism, and how can you use it, and how many types of inheritance are there, polymorphism are there, what is data abstraction, what is encapsulation. You should know in detail about them. And approximately to learn OOPS concept in detail and to have a great practice on that, it will take approximately 2 weeks if you are a beginner. 2 to 3 weeks also it might take. And when you are learning for the first time, you might feel that it's very difficult. When you reach out to OOPS concept, it's not an issue. Why until OOPS concept? If you are a beginner, even you might feel difficult when you are learning the statements itself. If statement, else, or for loop, while loop. Just have a practice on it and try to refer the documentations, and also try to refer some medium blogs you can easily understand and you can easily learn. So once you're done with the OOPS concept, the next method will be that file handling methods, which is nothing but read mode, write mode, or append mode. There are many other file handling methods like read plus, write plus. So you can have a look on it. I have even created a video on that also. You can have a look on that. And or else if you refer any blogs or documentation, you can easily understand about those methods. And it's not a big task. You can easily learn about those operations within 1 day if you have reached till OOPS concept. It's not going to take that much of time for file handling methods. And after file handling methods, you have exception handling and debugging. When it comes to exception handling, normally when you are writing a modular coding, or else when you are creating an end-to-end application, you will be writing loggers and exception. So if there is an exception raised, or else if there is an error raised in your particular code, then it will be rising in the form of exception. You will be creating an exception, or else you will be just saving an exception. You can even create the custom exceptions also, and even you can save the exceptions also. So for that, you can have a look on that, and you can even learn about this. And the debugging, the main skill for a programmer is to know the debugging. Creating the application, or else the creating the project related to machine learning or deep learning is easy, but you have to debug. You will be getting many issues. You have to solve the issues. So the main and most important skill is debugging skills. If you know the debugging skills, you can easily complete the task of the machine learning project or any project. So once you are done with the file handling and debugging, then you will be entering into functional programming. So functional programming are nothing but like Lambda. These are the normal functional programmings: Lambda, map function, filter function, reduce function. Even there are some other functional programming also. You can have a look on them. So guys, these are mainly used to reduce the time. So using this, you can reduce the space and time of the programming, and you can write the program faster and easier in a very easy format compared to normally how you code. So these are useful for that. You can have a look on this functional programming. Once you are done with functional programming, then you are good to go with machine learning libraries. So these are the normal basic libraries which I have mentioned you. There are many thousands and thousands of libraries. If we try to mention that, this sheet only will be full. So normally according to the requirements, we will be using the libraries. So when it comes to pandas, I have already created a video on pandas. I'll be providing that video link also in this video description. You can have a look on that. This NumPy, Matplotlib. NumPy is nothing but for mathematical operations. When it comes to Matplotlib and Seaborn, these are for visualization. and for performing the machine learning operations. I'll be creating the video one by one on each and everything. It's not an issue. You'll be getting slowly. Just subscribe the channel and on the bell notification so that you can receive the notification as soon as I release these videos. So once you're done with libraries, then you're good. You should have a basic knowledge on frameworks as well, like Flask, Django, and REST API. So you should have a basic knowledge on APIs also. You will be not working more on this, but you should have a basic knowledge on this Flask, Django, and this REST API. Any one among them. If you have an idea on Flask also, it's fine. This is mainly helpful for modular coding and to host or else to run your particular project online in the form of web pages. For that, you require Flask or any APIs like REST API or Fast API. You have many other options also. You can have a look with the frameworks. So guys, that's all. If you know all this, you can easily complete Python. Normally to complete Python, it will not take much time. Approximately it will take 1.5 months to 2 months. If you are giving every day 2 hours of time, then you can easily complete it. So once you are done with this, and you can have a look on the interview questions when it comes to Python interview questions. Or else normally in machine learning interviews, what it happens, you will be having two forms of interview. One will be your normal interviews, like how it goes on, like first round will be your theoretical round, the second round will be your coding round. After that you will be having the managerial round and HR round. But now there is a different scenario going on. The second format will be that they'll be giving you all a data set and they'll be telling you all to complete the analysis and build a model, machine learning model, and send the answer to them by mail within 24 to 48 hours. They'll be giving the time. If you complete that task, then you will be having the second round, which will be your theoretical and even your programming round. Once you are done with that, you will be having the HR round. This is the second format. So many companies nowadays, the latest startups are using the second method. They are providing you the data set and they're telling you to analyze and complete the model and come with it. When it comes to the MNCs, some MNCs are using coming up with the data structures and algorithms also. You should have a basic knowledge on that. If you are not having that, it's not a problem. For now, you can have a try on startups. Later, when you enter into the job field, you can easily learn. And also guys, I have created the interview series playlist where I have explained in detail about the coding questions which you might get in your interview. If you want to have a look on that, that particular interview playlist will be in this video description. You can have a look on that. And that's all guys. So you are done with Python. When it comes to our programming language, the theoretical concepts and also the programmatically also it will be a bit same. Only the syntaxes will be changed in R programming. If you have a look on the R programming documentation, you can easily understand that. You can have a look on that. So guys, that's all. The first programming language is done, or else you can say the first tech stack is done. Now we will be entering into our second tech stack, or else the second skill, which is nothing but databases. So when it comes to databases, you should definitely know the databases, because guys, the data which will be available, it will be available in the cloud or else in an SQL database or else in a NoSQL database. You should know this particular database so that you will be able to pull the data from the cloud and you should be able to work on that and create the machine learning models, because you cannot save the data locally, right? There will be millions and millions of rows and columns. For that, you should definitely have an idea on databases. So when it comes to databases, there are mainly two types of databases. One is SQL databases and NoSQL databases. So SQL is nothing but structured query language. So when it comes to SQL databases, you have the different types, which is nothing but MySQL, MariaDB, SQLite and Snowflake. You can learn any one of them. See, the queries will be same in everything. Only you should understand the concepts and the logic. Just learn according to that. I would recommend you all to learn MySQL for now if you are a beginner. All the queries which you will be entering, right, it will be same in MariaDB also, in Snowflake also. It's not an issue. Just understand the concepts. It's enough. You should know the triggers, windowing function, and you should know the joins, types of joins, all these particular topics when it comes to SQL. So that is done. Then when it comes to NoSQL, you have two famous databases there. One is this Cassandra database and MongoDB database. So if you know MongoDB, it's fine, because NoSQL is nothing but you will be working on the commands. Like when it comes to SQL, you will be writing queries, but when it comes to NoSQL, you will be working on the commands. you will be writing the commands using which you can get the unstructured data. So normally right now MongoDB is in trend and it's famous also. You can have a look on MongoDB and you can learn it. Even I have created the complete playlist on MongoDB. You can have a look on that also. I'll be providing that particular playlist link in this video description. So now you are done with the database also. Approximately to learn the databases, it will take again another 1 month to learn both structured query language and not unstructured query language. So normally for MongoDB, it will take maximum of 3 to 5 days. But when it comes to SQL, MySQL, it will take more time because the concepts are huge in that and you should know to write the queries. So you can have a time with that and you can even play with the data in databases. So your second tech stack is also done now. The third tech stack which we'll be entering is nothing but statistics. By listening the name itself, many of them might have got scared that okay, it's maths, whether they can do it or not. They are a bit poor in maths. They cannot perform the calculations. It's not an issue, guys. You should know the basic maths to understand what that particular library is doing. Yes, you heard it right. Even Python's programming language has many of the libraries which will automatically perform the backend mathematically also related to statistics. Only you should know like each and every library what it is doing at the backend, which will be very helpful for you all to draw the conclusions and you will get to know like at which particular point which library you should use. Further, you should know the backend maths of that particular libraries to understand better. I'll be explaining you all about that in detail. So when it comes to statistics, there are mainly 7 topics you should know. One is descriptive statistics, inferior statistics, and then probability distribution. We will be discussing about all this one by one. Statistical testing, correlation, sampling methods, and time series analysis. For this all, I have a recommendation for you all. If you all want to learn statistics better, then I would recommend you all to have a look on KrishnaX YouTube channel. I'll be providing that particular YouTube channel link also in this video description. Or else let me show you all right now here. If you just search for statistics, so you'll be getting the statistics videos here itself. So you can see this particular video, 5 hours of video of complete statistics is available. If you have a look on this particular video, you can easily understand the statistics and the maths which are required to complete the machine learning. So guys, now let's dive into our topic. Let's continue it. Let me explain you all about this also. So when it comes to descriptive statistics, so descriptive statistics is all about summarizing and describing the main features of a data set. For that, you mainly require the mean, median, mode, variance, and standard deviation. So this is mainly used for understanding the distribution and to understand the central tendency of the data and the dispersion of the data. For that, you can use this particular descriptive statistics. So these are easy. You can easily learn them. Have a look on the YouTube channel. So once you are done with this particular descriptive statistics, you will be entering into the inferior statistics. So in inferior statistics, you have nothing but hypothesis testing, confidence interval, and regression analysis. So these are mainly used to draw the conclusions and make predictions about the population based on sample. So you can have a look on that. You can easily understand. Have a look on any documentation also for better understanding. You have many Medium blogs written about each and every topic. If you have a look on that, you will easily understand about that. It's not an issue. If it's possible, I'll also try to make a statistics playlist for you all. So when it comes to the third subtopic, which is nothing but probability distribution. In this, we'll be seeing about the normal distribution, which is nothing but Gaussian distribution, and uniform distribution and binomial distribution. These are mainly used to find out the likelihood of differences between the random events. So we will be understanding the probability distribution in crucials of the model and analyzing the data. So for that, we will be using this probability distribution. Okay. After this, the next one will be statistical testing. So when it comes to statistical testing, it involves in comparing the data or model to make the decision or raw conclusions. For that you have t-test, chi-square test, ANOVA test and f-test. Each testing will do a different working approach. You can have a look on this particular testings also. If you just search for t-test medium block, you will be getting the famous medium block which you can read easily. Or if you refer the documentation also, it will be very useful. Documentation in itself, some documentations which the people will be writing. When it comes to correlation and regression, so correlation, so I have mentioned it here only. Correlation analyzes the measure the strength and direction of the relationship between two variables. It will find out the correlation between two variables. It will be helpful for us. So mainly this particular correlation we'll be using in machine learning more. You should have a deep knowledge about correlation. So don't miss this particular topic. Have a look on this. When it comes to regression analysis, it investigates the relationship between a dependent variable of one or more independent variables. So it will be finding the relationship between the dependent and independent variables. So this is also more important. Have a look on this regression also. Once regression is done, we have the sampling methods: random sampling, stratified sampling and clustering sampling. So when it comes to sampling methods, these are used to select the subset of the data points for a larger population. So the technique like random sampling, stratified sampling and the other sampling will help us to obtain the representative samples of the analysis. Proper sampling method ensures that the data used for analysis is representative and minimalized bias. So we have to check whether the data is biased or not. For that we'll be mainly using all these particular sampling methods. You can have a look on that in detail. So when it comes to time series, you have time series is nothing but you will be playing more with the data related to time and date. Based on that only we will be analyzing more, like flight prediction, flight delay prediction. There are many prediction data sets which are related to time. You can have a look on that and you can easily understand about that. When even stock market also comes into this time series part. So there are mainly three types of time series, which is nothing but ARIMA modeling. Even there is something called Sarimax and Arimax. This is nothing but this only. When it comes to exponential smoothing and moving average. So this is all about time series. And let me tell you all one more thing, guys. You don't need to understand everything. Like you don't need to have a deep knowledge on everything. If you have a basic knowledge, it's enough. According to the problem which you get, or else according to data set you are working on that, at that time you can again revise it and even you can learn, and at that time you can work on it. It doesn't mean that you have to learn everything at a time and you will not be able to remember everything. You have Google for that, and even now you have ChatGPT also for that, and many other AI tools which can help you all to learn fast and also to implement fast. So finally we are done with statistics. Now we will be entering into the next tech stack, which is nothing but version control tools. So when it comes to version control tools, you can see here you should know Git, GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket and Source3. These all are the different version control tools. In this you must definitely know about GitHub and Git, because many of the industries now are using Git and GitHub compared to all the other version control tools. I'll be creating a video on this also separately for you all so that you can easily understand. Until that, if you want to learn it fast, you can refer any video related to Git and GitHub. You can easily understand. It is not going to take that much time. It will approximately take 1 day, or else it will approximately take 3 hours to complete or to learn completely about Git and GitHub. And I would recommend you all, if you are an IT employee or else if you are from non-tech background, then definitely you should have a GitHub and a LinkedIn profile. If you don't have LinkedIn profile, create the LinkedIn profile and also the GitHub account, so that it will be helpful for you all to push your projects into GitHub using Git. We'll be doing a detailed video related to that. And if you don't have the LinkedIn account, create your LinkedIn account and follow me on LinkedIn. I'll be providing my LinkedIn ID also in this video description. So now let's enter into the next tech stack. The next tech stack is nothing but machine learning. So the real hero comes here. To know machine learning, you should know all these 4 tech stacks, or else it will be very difficult for you all. So when it comes to machine learning, now we'll be discussing about this in detail. Okay, we will be exploring one by one now. Before that, let me just, yeah. Now let me bring it up here. So when it comes to machine learning, here also you have 6 subtopics, which is nothing but supervised learning, unsupervised learning, semi-supervised learning, reinforcement learning, ensemble learning, and anomaly detection. We will be learning about each and everything one by one. So when it comes to supervised learning, so in supervised learning, you have linear regression, logistic regression, and SVM, decision tree, and random forest. Supervised learning algorithms are nothing but they are labeled data. So we will be using that to make predictions and classify new or unseen data. Here, what happens is you will be already having the data. It will be in the form of classification or else in regression. These are the 2 types. So classification is nothing but you will be predicting like yes or no. So like this it will be there, but the data will be already there. You have to just read the data and you have to explain, like make the model to learn or train based on that particular data, and it should be able to make the upcoming predictions. That's all. So for that, these all are the particular algorithms: logistic regression, linear regression, SVM, decision tree, and random forest. You will be using all these algorithms according to the data requirement and according to the scenario which is required to that particular project. So based on that particular project, you will be using each and every algorithm. First, you learn the basic knowledge or else basics of all these particular algorithms. Then take a project or else take a data set and start implementing it. When you start to implement it, you will get to know what are the issues, and based on the accuracy and based on the errors, you will get to know which data or else which particular algorithm you should know. When you learn the basics only, you will get to know which are classification algorithms, which are regression algorithms, which algorithm should be used at which particular scenario. So, okay, this is all about supervised learning. So now the supervised learning is done. When it comes to unsupervised learning, so in unsupervised learning is nothing but they are unlabeled data. So you have to discover the patterns and relationship between the structure within the data. So here you will be not having the proper data. It will be labeled or else unstructured. You have to find out the structure and you have to sort it out, and you have to make the data useful. In this you have k-mean clustering, hierarchical clustering, PCA, which is nothing but the principal component analysis, and Gaussian mixture models. You will be using the mixture models here. So these all are very useful for us when it comes to the real world scenario. In real world scenario, you will be not getting any labeled data. In many companies, you will be getting unstructured data only. You have to take that particular data, you have to clean it out, you have to find the null values, perform feature engineering, and you have to make the data useful for the company. This is the main scenario or else main workflow of the machine learning engineer. So you're done with unsupervised learning now. So these all are the particular algorithms you will be using when it comes to unsupervised learning. So now semi-supervised learning. Semi-supervised learning is nothing but combination of both supervised and unsupervised learning. You will be having both labeled data also, unlabeled data also. You will be using that to improve the performance of the supervised learning algorithms. So based on this approach, you will be obtaining the labeled data and unlabeled data, and you will be performing some practicals, or else you can say some practical implementations on that. But it is more expensive and time consuming. And there are only 2 ways to use this semi-supervised algorithms, which is SVM. You have to use only SVM algorithm, or else you have to use some deep learning models. About deep learning, you will be getting to know when you will be completing machine learning. It's not an issue. Semi-supervised learning, it is not in that use because of its cost effective and more time consuming, but in some companies they are using it. Then the next topic will be of reinforcement learning. So reinforcement learning is nothing but by the name it states that it will be having a agent interacting with the environment of learning and taking the maximize and cumulative reward signals. It is nothing but here you will be not at all having the proper data. You will be having only some data. Based on that, the model will learn and it will only improve itself based on the errors it make. For reinforcement learning, the best example will be your ChatGPT. So how many errors that particular ChatGPT makes, and when you try to correct it, it will learn based on that. It works on the algorithm like RNN or some of the deep learning algorithms also. So here you have some of the machine learning algorithms, which is nothing but Q learning, deep Q network, DQN, and policy gradient. So you should know about them. So, and it's also not that recommended. First, your main target will be in machine learning to know about supervised and unsupervised. Then you can enter into all this. So guys, the next tech stack is nothing but ensemble learning. Ensemble learning is nothing but combination of multiple models to make prediction or classification to obtain the better performance and the signals. So in ensemble learning, using this, you can reduce the risk of overfitting and increase the generalization. So the main two types of ensemble learning will be nothing but bagging and boosting. When it comes to bagging, you will be mostly using random forest to find out that. And when it comes to boosting, there are many statistical algorithms like ADA boost, gradient boost, and these are nothing but they are used to boost the algorithms and to perform. I mean, they are used to boost the data and to perform the model well and to get the accuracy better. So for that, we mainly use ensemble learning. This is nothing but once the model is already done, we'll be using ensemble learning to improve the accuracy or to improve the model performance. Then the final subtopic will be nothing but anomaly detection. Anomaly detection aim is to identify the patterns or instances to divert the signal from the norms and expected behavior. So here you can say that it is used in the applications such as fraud detection, network insulation detection, or system monitoring. In this, we use anomaly detection to expect the signals and to divert them. So they are mainly statistical methods and clustering based approach and autoencoders. And in machine learning, I have a bonus tip for you all. So when it comes to machine learning, there is one more library called as AutoML. If you use that, it will perform everything automatically. You don't need to do machine learning, all these approaches. It will automatically perform the cleaning. It will automatically do feature engineering. At final, it will even give you the accuracy on different algorithms also. But you have to, like, when it comes to AutoML, it's time consuming and it is more energy or resource consuming. So many of them don't recommend that. But you can have a try on that also in your local system, not on the cloud computer. So guys, that's all. If you know all this, you can easily become a machine learning engineer. And the final tech stack is left out, which is nothing but soft skill. So guys, even soft skill also plays a key role in your interview. I know many of them. So who knows all these particular skills? They can even create a machine learning model. They can train the model. They can create the projects, but they are not able to crack the interview, mainly because of soft skills. The first and foremost thing they should know is the communication skills. They should know English very well. So many of them are losing their interview because of English, or they are not able to explain properly in the interview. So if you know all this and if you don't know the communication skills, it will be very difficult to crack the interview. I won't say it's impossible, but it's very difficult to crack the interview. You might get the job, but it will be very difficult. Many companies will directly reject when your explanation skills are very bad. So I would recommend you all to improve your communication skills well, mainly your English speaking skills. So when it comes to communication skills, there are again 4 subtopics, in which the first one is nothing but understanding the data. So in the soft skills, the first topic will be understanding the data, which is nothing but the data which you're getting from the client, or else you can say, or else from any data you're getting from any website. You should first try to understand the data. You should know what are the key patterns and what you should perform for that particular data. What are the columns present and how many rows. You should know everything in detail so that you will be able to take the next step, or else you will be facing very difficult when you are performing the feature engineering or else analysis. You should even understand whether there is any null values in the data and you have to treat it very well. The second topic is nothing but problem solving skills. This is the second most important thing. You should know how to do feature engineering. You should know how to perform data cleaning, and you should know like which model should be used. I mean, which algorithm should be used for which particular data set. Whether you have to take the classification approach or else the regression approach. You should know all this, or else it will be very difficult when you are performing the project. So this is your second sub skill, and after this you have nothing but looking for better approach. So now you have performed the machine learning training and you got the accuracy, but you should not be satisfied with that particular accuracy. For example, if you are performing any data set, if you are performing some for example, I can say like you are performing an classification problem only, you got the accuracy of around 80 percentage. You should not stop at there only. You have to use the different algorithms. You should perform, or else you should test on different algorithms. So you should have a look on different classification algorithms which is giving better accuracy. You have to consider that particular algorithm only. And also you should check whether the data is normalized or not, whether there is any outliers. You have to remove that and you have to check properly. This is more important when you are performing machine learning model, or else you are training the data. And the final subtopic of the soft skills is nothing but confidence. You should know what you are speaking in the interview. You should be able to explain the interviewer in so confident that he should think that whether I can continue asking question in this particular topic or not. Because if you explain to him confidently, then only he'll be like, okay, he knows this particular topic very well. He can perform well. So if you show your confidence more to the interviewer, more in a sense, you should not even show the overconfidence also. You should have a basic confidence. You have to explain in such a confidence that the interviewer should be like, okay, he can perform and he should select you in the interview. Your confidence only plays a key role when it comes to many of the interviews. Okay, so guys, remember these points. So if you know all these particular 6 tips which I wanted to say you all, 6 tips or else 6 key skills, then you can easily crack your machine learning interview and you can easily get your first job. You can even perform your interview also very well. So guys, that's all for today's video. Do like, share and subscribe the channel and on the bell notification, and follow the channel and follow me on LinkedIn.